Philip Alexander played the
Can I interject here, gentlemen, seeing that you're on this topic that I think is just going on and on and on and on as a talk shop kind of thing. That $6.8 million, based on your response, David, and that should it just be left? And
No, certainly not, and that is why the matter is.
It seems as though you guys are just.
No, I am trying to understand, Mr.
No, he's trying to
take.
take some kind of action, right?
Yeah, but we're trying to determine whether the action is valid or
Yeah,
not.
whether, you know, how you.
But he just asked you a very important question because we have a situation
No,
where
I think the 6.8
we have an
million
opposition. We have an opposition who would take this matter
I think a
and
lot of
make
things
noise
these
about
days are
it, but not
ludicrous.
prosecute it. None of the matters that coming before.
So are you saying there's an ineffective opposition?
I
and the
said that at the
opposition-
start. We have. Look at the
So
situation.
you're aspiring to be the opposition, to take over the opposition?
No, I
role.
didn't say that. I'm saying that this is a
Prosecute matters.
civilian response.
Why don't run in Shogunas West?
You see now you're going to belittle me. That's
No.
I think Kurt could
no,
set up a candidate.
belittling is not happening because the
Citizens Union is
the
not a
PNM
political
candidate, the candidate who the PNM has considered and who is the prospective candidate now having been screened and so on.
You guys are not making fun of that.
24-year-old guy.
You're not, you
Is he a
guys
member
are
of
not
the PNM?
poking fun of that 6.8 million
He is.
fiasco, right?
So that he
I
is.
think that he doesn't
I-
think
you
through his
could-
action. So you come in here and you begin
No, David, you see, you're speaking on truths. When you called earlier and asked us to deal with this issue, I told you have some things that we cannot talk about.
No, but I thought you would have had
All
some
right, well,
stuff.
hopefully then,
No,
within
but-
the next few weeks,
No,
we'll get
because
some
you see,
more.
I-
Gentlemen, you know what I find lately the political how should I say? What you call
Atmosphere,
that?
environment,
I don't know what they call it. The political
sphere.
business. I find a lot of things are done to me as though because of I don't know loopholes that people kind of thriving on loopholes. This is my personal opinion, not of power to it.
There's
Let's-
no law,
Wait, do you
That is
understand
wrong.
what I'm asking you before you
but
answer
me
me,
charging
right?
any price for anything, it was you to pay for it. That's the law.
There's price coercion now.
Okay.
If I,
Okay, if that's the law.
You cannot charge
If
something.
that's the law.
Yeah,
If
because
that's
if it
the
is
law.
that you charge a price,
Was it-
it's not like you're selling something now, you know. Is that for a particular service and you cannot, because that would lead to the height of
you
corruption.
can gouge a buyer, it's legal.
No, no,
Let me-
so
let me-
that-
let me-
this
let me
is
ask-
for you just go and do a work as a soul, no tender, no anything. I just said, okay, David,
that-
I want you to play
I
music.
don't want to
want
get
you,
into
hold on,
this.
just now.
I
said,
really
David,
don't want to
no,
get
no,
into
no,
this.
no,
Let
no.
me
just
ask
now
you
come
the
in with the
next
point.
question,
Just let me
David.
make a point, David.
Hold
Daddy,
on. I hear enough about that.
just now,
Let me
if
ask
I
you the
hire
next
you
question,
to
right?
play a thing, you can't tell
David,
me after
is
the
the
fact
army
it was $1 million.
equipped to do a job like that?
Yes.
Yeah, they do have the
Yeah.
equipment.
Yes.
The thing about it is,
It's 2 excavators we're talking about.
no, I don't know about that.
I am telling you, that is what the video shows, and that video has gone viral worldwide. 2 excavators moved the truck. I want to tell you something. You could have bring 4 car thieves there and they wouldn't leave a space behind where that fire truck was. What happened to that truck in the moving? How it was moved?
But you
Depreciated
seem
the
to have
value of the
proper
truck.
understanding how the car thieves and I work to fill it.
No, well, I mean, I have had a car stolen, and I came outside to go to work, and I put my key where my car used to be, and it wasn't there.
Without carelessness.
I misplaced my car. No, but the reality of the situation here, you cannot deviate from this at all. You may say that there is nothing preventing you from gouging, and I am telling you that this is going to become a criminally prosecuted matter.
I disagree
And
with
that-
David Fraser on that
No,
point.
but you
though.
see,
There's no law against gouging.
No, why there's no law? I'll tell you something. If state funds, and let me ask a question now.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Let's go back to
David
question
Fraser, just
number
now.
one. Please, David.
If David
Can you answer
McIntyre,
me question
Hold
about
on.
seeing
Let him
that
answer- let him
you know
answer his
that
question.
you said that it's okay
Let me
to
tell you-
gouge because there's no law against
Let
it.
me tell you the
Now,
danger in that kind of
the people on the
mispractice.
ground don't know that, you know. So what you're saying is that the people on the top know that, so they're having a
No,
time.
but here what?
David is wrong
That
to
is
say
okay.
that because public funds.
Well, tell me
they
what
are
law.
responsibility.
Tell me what law is
They are
wrong with
no, but David,
That's
listen,
how I'm
you
gonna
cannot. If I am a minister and I say, okay, I'm having a function and I want Magdaddy to play and I'm with and all right.
And Magdaddy charge 40 million.
And Magdaddy
And
say,
you-
okay, after I play, we didn't come to a price or so on.
And he
so
charge you
everything-
40 million,
And
you
he
gotta
come and
pay.
tell me whether 40 or a million I also play music in the
You gotta pay the 40
And
million.
any other DJ would have play for 5,000, 10,000, whatever.
According to
Following
Roberts,
yeah.
the legal cost would be more, so you had to pay the 40 million.
And that is the height of hypocrisy, you know, even what Anil Robertson, that's what they have been exploiting basically. Yeah.
There's no law against gouging.
No, that's not fun, that's serious.
You see, Magdaddy, correct.
No, don't get putting on that. Are we talking about in terms the whole exactly the point I'm making, and that is why the price
This
goes
situation, is going to set a precedent in this country. This situation is going to set a precedent in this country. This is not the only lawsuit that is going to happen.
No, Philip,
but it is the first lawsuit that is going to
talking
happen.
about Gary. Yeah?
No, Philip.
Gary more civic minded than me.
Philip,
I think you don't understand the case.
You have no respect for public money. And
no,
that
but
is
even
the
so, Philip, I applaud and I do hope that's successful. You all, the only point I'm asking is
Philip,
that
you ever handle
if you have to
public
pay cost,
See that? You know, you sounding as though no matter what these people do, they won't even make an inch of it. Because, you go back to question number one. The people in the ground ain't know about this. No law for gouging, is there? The people that go scared about them kind of thing. Yes, that. See that? The people at the top. So wait, the people at the top, they know that there is no law for gouging. I got people at the ground.
there's anti-gouging. There's no law. You
He
can
cannot
be
say
prosecuted for
legislation.
gouging. But the permanent secretary right now, the permanent secretary does not
Well,
pay,
you
right?
just
Because
said
there's no
that
right.
Permanent
for 2
secretary
million.
didn't
The permanent, no, because hold on. Let me explain the system as it operates. If it is a contract was done, a person was sold selected for a contract, you didn't agree price, and they bust a price for years, as happened in several ministries, and one particular ministry where no, something that was not fully authorized, also a minister went ahead and hire one of his contracted friend to do a piece of work. Then he come to the ministry for payment. The permanent secretary, no, we cannot pay that for that. But then they come and say, they come and say, work was done, we have to pay the permanent secretary. If a work was done, let's value the work. So we're not going to pay based on what they say the work they did.
Yeah,
the value of the work, when the contractor claiming $1 million, the value of the work according to the quantity surveyors in terms of the labor cost, the material used and that type of thing, the equipment used and so on at rated price was less than $100,000.
Exactly, but you
And the
don't
permanent secretary
wait, you don't
refused.
need to-
Now what you do, you go now, the minister will go and prepare a note to go to cabinet for his colleagues and them, because it for everybody go try to support each other. He bring a note, next one bring with some similar type
And
thing.
David.
And that is where the problem lies.
Could
So
I
David,
make
that
a
is
point?
why,
We
to
both
some
understand.
extent,
No
Could
law
I
to
make,
stop me from
could I make
charging
a
you any
point here,
price.
please? Because you don't need all of these
not enough
analogies.
public funds, David.
Could I make a point, please? You don't.
I am billing you from a private
Could I
company.
make a point,
If you
please?
decide to pay it, that is not the point.
Let me just make a point here.
I didn't do anything
Because at the
wrong.
end of the day, you have a member of parliament
That's
stood up
what
in the House of
I want
Representatives.
to be like you guys.
I want to be able
Trust
to
me.
make this point. You have a member of parliament stood up in the House of Representatives and said that because the work was done and because the bill was
Lower
presented,
house.
it had to be paid, or the cost of fighting it in court would have been more. I want to tell you something. That
I
bill-
disagree with him.
I
about
want
that,
to
yeah.
finish my point. That bill was presented on a clear fraud. And the state is going to have to make that case as to how that fraud took place. Because what we were told we were billed for, we never got. They said 4 days, it took 2 hours. They said it took 3 cranes and multiples of men, it took 2 excavators. At the end of the day, you are
Somebody
not,
had to break a jail
you have
or pay back the money.
listen, when that
But I agree with you.
when that member of parliament made that statement in the House of Representatives, he was talking foolishness. When that bill that Junior Sammy's multi-lift had to take the government to court for,
Yeah, but you can't sue anybody for making a statement in the House of Parliament.
no, but if the company
Yeah,
that did
yeah,
the work
privilege.
took the state to court,
See that again?
the state would have had a defense because what you were
Covered
billing
said
for was not the service that
I
was
agree,
provided.
and that's what I say.
We want
I
our
like the
money
idea,
back.
and in terms of
right, good.
public interest
You're right.
litigation, which has not been tested in Trinidad to the extent to which it could,
David,
is something that I would
those
support.
people know the army could have moved that. I sticking on that point there.
Or without sticking, I would just be
The fire
sticking on
service
that point.
probably had the
there.
capacity to do it.
They
as well.
themselves could have probably.
They have the
done.
equipment. The
Because
problem is
they go to crashes and so on, and they are the first responders to
Right.
TTSC called them to
The
correct their buses.
opportunity,
Well,
the
it's a concern,
opportunity was there. You know what I
The
asked a
people who
question?
authorize that, they don't know that?
Shudat,
They
there was a
they don't have a
pothole,
clue?
a sinkhole that collapsed on Wrightson
Yeah.
Road by the lighthouse.
I'm not
I
going to be
remember our
part of this
Minister of
topic
Works
anymore.
saying to the public through the news media that the Ministry of Works didn't have the capacity to fix a sinkhole. So they call in a company and they gave them, and they will give us the bill after the fact, like you're eating egg noodles at
And
Chinese
like
restaurant.
I say, I disagree with that.
we
And
never
even
got-
how the contractor was selected
The
for that
ministry has the
south,
capacity.
But the ministry must have the capacity.
for that
what's the point of
south, for
having
the
a
South
Ministry of
Highway.
Works?
How you come with this? Who provided the finance? You just taking money out of the consolidated fund.
This
out of
is why the Auditor General's
with
report.
no.
This is why the Auditor General's report, the latest report here, reads like.
I did not fire.
All right, what we'll do, we'll get a
Yeah.
copy of the Auditor General report, and for the next program to we'll go through it and some of the
One
the
program,
issues, yeah.
you need about 8 programs to go through.
Philip,
You need
Philip,
4 to spend on the
and Philip,
Ministry of Sport
Philip,
alone.
Before you come next week, right?
Read it.
No, go and read the Exchequer Act of 1952.
All right, I will.
54. It's 1954,
I want to ask you
right?
something. As you used to be a member of the PNM, you were involved at all? I just want to ask a question because before we get off the point,
No, David was a consultant, a professional, a technocrat working like many others across administrations. There are many people who otherwise, I don't mean to say,
I want to know
because you
what.
work as a technocrat with an administration mean that you are politically
political.
affiliated.
Okay, good. No, I was just trying to
there's a
ask the
difference,
point
yeah.
because this is coming down straight down party lines, and I just wanted to know if this same situation had happened, but you're not in a position to answer, so I don't need to ask the question.
I am a member of the Congress of the People, the COP.
Right.
That's the only political party that I belong to.
You're still a member.
Still a member of the
17 are you all? You're one of 17.
But you were a member too, Philip. Yeah.
No,
Well,
he
I
he
resigned.
chose to resign
I
before the
resigned.
disciplinary rules.
I
Your disciplinary
resigned.
rules
You have no
will have
disciplinary
automatically
rules.
included
No, no,
him
man,
in
let's
the-
take a
in
break.
the
Let's
I
come back.
resigned. Niral Tiwari was
Let's
so
take a
happy
break
to
and
sit in the
let's
back
not-
of me.
Let's come back with some serious
You would have been
discussion about
expelled.
food cards.
Tobago Race Day is back at Santa Rosa Park. Wednesday, 19th June, Labor Day holiday. Added attraction will be Tobago Goat Racing Live. Feature races, the Eric Cole Durant Memorial Turf, and top of the class stakes. Come and enjoy Tobago hospitality. Be entertained by Show in Winchester and Oscar B. And enjoy the mouth-watering Tobago cuisine on sale. Tobago Day at the races. This Labor Day at Santa Rosa Park Arena. Bring the entire family.
Your health is your responsibility. Daily, we are faced with difficult health decisions. Are there safe, effective methods to help improve our conditions? How can we work along with our medical practitioners to maximize the quality of our lives? And to what extent by our lifestyles do we contribute to our health concerns? Tune in to Power 102 FM Friday mornings at 11:25 when Dr. Howard Chinfat, a certified natural health professional and doctor of naturopathy, discusses herbs, homeopathic remedies and lifestyle changes that can assist in improving the quality of our lives. Remember, your health is your wealth. This segment is sponsored by HNJ Enterprises Limited, distributors of Nature's Way, Bioforce, Biostress, Carlson Vitamins and other natural products of the highest quality.
It's the experience you look forward to, soothing the mind, body, and soul, and satisfying your musical needs with 100% reggae on Power 102.1 FM.
Tell her try your best just to make it quick. For my 10 to the 6.
The Reggae Ride. Every Saturday, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., featuring Gail Ann and the Ultimate DJ Shane. Pumping your favorite artists through your speakers. Bob Marley, Sizzler, Gregory Isaacs, Jack Cure, and more. Reggae Ride to the World. Powered by Japs Fried Chicken.
I am Dion Ligo, and we are keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Join me with Sir Charles and Melissa every Friday morning from 9 to 11 for Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real, the Friday edition.
Keeping it real.
Hard-hitting, thought-provoking, bringing idiots direct, fearless, honest.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
Exclusively on Power 102.1 FM.
Red, white, and black. Red, white, and black. On Power 102 FM.
Red, White and Black brought to you in part by Trinity Moore.
All right, so we are back inside, coming to you live from the studio here at 88 and 90 Abercrombie Street, Port of Spain, streaming to you live, Midtown, Port of Spain. And well, one of the topics that David, welfare. So let's deal for the last 20 minutes or so with the whole issue of welfare and the budgets and so on that would have been allocations made for just giving away money, food cards and these type of things.
Well, as it presently stands, government spending is about 50% of GDP, which is terrible because 7 years ago, government spending was about a third of GDP. It's now at about 50% of GDP, or slightly over 50% of GDP. And when Britain ruled the waves in 1899, when the height of the Victorian Empire, where you had 100 years of continuous economic growth because of industrialization and how that transformed England, government spending was only 10% of national income or national production. When Britain's cost went up, just the period preceding the World War II and after World War II, the empire collapsed. And in the United States, it's very much the same situation. Government efficiency, and this is the United States, this was a study done in the United States. Government efficiency, dollar for dollar spent, United States, not Trinidad, is only 50% of money spent. Therefore, if you spend 100, only 50% of that goes into efficiency, into effectiveness, how that money is effective in services, in infrastructure, in whatever it's allocated to. So government effectiveness, the efficacy of government spending is 50%. That is in the United States, a developed country with very developed financial systems and monitoring how expenditures are developed. Most of the modern systems in the world, GDP, the measure of GDP, how you look at government spending, government efficiency, all of that came out of the federal congressional hearings post-World War II in terms of correcting the problems that happened prior to the depression that preceded World War II. And in Trinidad, government efficiency is probably about 10%. 90 cents of the dollar disappears in the system. And that's because the government is too big. 50% of GDP. There's always an advocate to have local spending. But the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago has a flaw. It was not designed to limit government power. It was designed in every case to give the government more power. And we hear the government use that as an argument every day, and people believe that the state can solve their problems in Trinidad, and we're in a serious mess. People believe that their children must grow up to work for the state, get a salary, produce nothing, do nothing, and live live mediocre lives. And this is where the problem comes in. And the PNM promotes that the state must look after you, as well as the UNC now, as we can see clearly, and the partnership. And we're in a serious problem. Chile is a success story, because while the dictator at the time, Pinochet, took over, and it was a brutal period when he assumed office, he used a bottom-up approach instead of a top-down approach normally used by army states, and it resulted in Chile being a phenomenal success today. So the turnaround by Chile, just like Singapore, occurred under a dictatorship. But I'm not advocating dictatorship, but centralized government has its weaknesses. It puts the producer in charge and reduces feedback from the consumer. Simply put, centralized government puts the producer in charge and reduces feedback from the consumer. Wherever the government takes over, cost goes up and efficiency and effectiveness goes down. And this is a fact. The argument that centralization improves efficiency might be valid only to a private company. Centralized government causes the opposite, and monopolies cause inefficiency. And welfare systems are tied directly to centralized governments. Wherever you have central governments, you have welfare. And they have failed. All the economies have failed. Every single one. In fact, the poverty rate in China was 95% in 1980. Only through radical embracing of free market capitalism that China was able, just like England in the turn of the 19th century, through industrialization, to come out of their problems. China is not over the hill. 60% of China still lives on $1 and less a day. And that is the major issue here. But had it not been for capitalism, the country would not have transformed. We would not have critical infrastructure, ports, adequate power supply to the country. Power supply now is about 60% and so on, but it's moving, and it's moving rapidly.
Capitalism, a free market economy.
The free market economy is the capitalist model, where you have respect for land, labor, and capital. So you understand the role of labor and the role it plays in production. You understand the role of land, respect for property. And we see in Trinidad that is being eroded daily, because I hear that people you can wake up tomorrow and somebody else has a deed for your property, and there are many claims like that. And of course, capital, you have the ability to let capital work for itself. That invisible hand is critical. Where the state gets involved, the state doesn't create anything. That's to take it from somewhere. And ultimately what happens, if they can't develop the resources, two things occur. Either the people continue to get poorer, as the case of Guyana, with all natural resources, including gas and oil, and gold, timber, metal, aluminium, you name it.
Jamaica.
Jamaica as well. And those countries have not been able to get out of the box because they embrace communism and socialism and cooperative republicanism.
You know, during just before you go on there, but I do recall when I was young and growing up, because my brother had studied for a bit in Jamaica, and the exchange rate, the Jamaican dollar was higher than the US dollar in terms of the exchange rate during the early 70s.
Right, but that was just
actually.
that was just after colonialism. Actually, is a success model in the Caribbean. All the countries in the Caribbean, including Jamaica, was a fine colonial success. When it became independent, two things happened: inverse racism, right, with the former slave populations now in charge. The first thing they did was try to exact revenge in the society rather than respect and honor the constitutions and treat people equitably. The inverse racism occurred, and you had the other effect where they destroyed the institutional framework of the society. And the attendant problems are there. 2 million people in Jamaica today don't eat.
Incidentally, and a lot of them
And they
come
have
to Trinidad
2.5.
on a regular basis. A lot of them on Facebook, girls looking to come to Trinidad to hook up and so on, to live and to find some job. And Jamaica.
Yeah, Jamaica has a serious
Jamaica
problem.
has a serious
They can't
problem.
migrate to the US anymore because they have tightened the United States border systems.
But one of the
They can't get a visa. The refusal rate in Jamaica, I think, is 75 or 80%. So it's very, very, very high, and it's consistent with the 500,000 middle class base they have.
after colonialism, David, in terms of what you relate to the inverse racism and so on, but after apartheid in South Africa, did any similar situation?
No,
No, and that's right. That's the point.
Mandela understood that.
That's right. Yeah.
And it
But
was
they
a
never come to that.
there was a negotiated arrangement in South
So
Africa.
businesses and everything continue to
No,
flourish, and in terms of who own the businesses.
No,
yeah.
the white ruling classes in South Africa and the business classes understood that they couldn't just create a constitution and made everybody equal. So there was a negotiation, there are reservations,
But they will not take over.
they
business
retain their own arms, and so it's not a case where you can come and do like in Trinidad
And it was like Chavez as well.
and
They
use
just take
nationalism
over.
as a basis or a rubric for Afro-Creole empowerment and so on. It's Trinidad and Tobago is a country that 40% of the population are East Indians, and this is where the fundamental disconnect comes because of socialism. It divides the society rather than create capitalist societies. And the countries in the Caribbean that are the most developed, well-run, beautiful, very successful states are the colonial states. Take Bermuda. It has one of the highest GDP per capita in the world, 75,000, right? Barbados embraced the concept of independence, but they retain the very colonial structures and systems, and they continue to be a success. Developed country, Trinidad isn't in that category as yet. But forget Bermuda, forget Barbados, US Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, Tortola, Grand Cayman. Then you look at
some areas in the Bahamas.
Bahamas is a failure. They got independence, they have one of the highest crime rates in the world, there are problems there. They are Bahamas and the Dutch Antilles, St. Martin, beautiful place, very well developed. People high standard of living. The French islands, the ABC Islands, and so on. But wherever colonialism stayed in the Caribbean, they are Puerto Rico. They are phenomenal success. But look at where socialism prevailed: Guyana, Suriname, places that nobody wants to go. Haiti, Santo Domingo. Struggling to come out of that socialism.
Suriname has had years of
You
struggle
refer to
with
Puerto Rico as a
dictatorship.
phenomenal success.
Phenomenal success.
And what of their phenomenal crime rate?
No, I
And
don't know
human
what
trafficking problems.
I don't know what they're true. I don't know what you're talking about. If you don't have statistics, don't intervene.
But you're not calling statistics. You're talking off it off your head too.
I am talking of it. I can tell you what the
Right
GDP
now, you
is.
can Google Puerto Rico and their position in crime in the world.
They are a phenomenal success because they were Puerto Rico was one of the poorest islands in the Caribbean in 1970.
You are pro-colonial.
Colonialism has worked. Bermuda is people don't get up and go Grenada unless they're poor.
The real
What you're really going to
Actually,
do?
a lot of people in Trinidad own property, and a lot of lawyers and so on own property. Go over as a hideaway and to carry the land.
You can buy and you can run
picnic
away.
basket. But why, instead of we talking about this, why we never really looking at
The fact is that the welfare system, the welfare economy has contributed significantly to the underdevelopment of Trinidad, embracing socialism. And today we have a situation where we have in a population of 1.3 million people with a labor force of about 650,000. We have 6,000 people, 1% of your food card of your food card recipients, 6,000, you have 6,000 fraudulent cases. So how many people get food
But
cards
what
in
is the source of the
Trinidad?
information for the fraudulent cases?
What is
The government, and by
What is the
government's
number
own
of food
admission.
cards? Because I would like to know, come back to that.
How do you get a food card? But the thing is, that is process. And let's not get into process. The trouble is in Trinidad, we are converting the country's money and finding ways, conveniently since undermining, to siphon that money off to sycophants and supporters. And housing is a sobriquet. Housing policies are sobriquet for finance, for giving property to people who vote in a particular way to create vote banks. And that's what we have done. We've wasted billions of dollars.
I can ask you a question. Yeah, you have some very good numbers there. What percentage of the GDP is stolen and mismanaged and siphoned away?
I just told you that the United States.
No, Trinidad.
No, I just told you that in the United States, if you listened, right, has a 50% a study that measures 50% efficiency. If every dollar spent, 50 cents of that dollar will Trinidad, in my opinion, is probably at 10%.
10% of the GDP is mismanaged.
No, 10% of government spending.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out.
Government GDP is 50%.
Which is a smaller number? The welfare costs or the amount of money that is stolen by party hacks?
No, the welfare
is big. Welfare is huge.
Welfare in Trinidad is 55. But Philip, you don't know these things, and you're talking on Facebook.
Give me the numbers.
Give me the number.
The corruption is high, but there's no
subsidies and transfers is 55%. But I said so on
Give me the numbers. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but you asking questions,
and
you
more
than anybody else advocating, give people shares and so on. You don't understand what you're saying. Ask me something sensible.
I just asked you a question. You're yet to give me a proper answer.
I tell you, it's 55% government subsidies and transfers.
What's
a subsidy and transfer?
What does that mean as a real value as compared to the amount of money that is stolen,
What's the budget?
Siphoned?
What's the budget of Trinidad?
50 billion.
The budget of Trinidad is 62 billion.
Okay.
55% of that is how much?
This is a math class. 32?
No. 31 is 50%. So it will be about 37.8 million. Right? Yeah. About 37.5 million, right?
Billion.
I'll help you. 37.5 billion. Right?
Is welfare?
Is welfare.
In what way?
The subsidies and transfers.
That includes the gasoline tax?
Includes the gasoline tax.
What is the amount of the gasoline tax? So you take, because everybody benefits from that. What I'm talking about here is we're talking about things like land and housing.
How do they benefit from that?
Housing, food cards. I want to get but I want you to tell me.
We import oil, you know.
Listen, that the food cards and the direct welfare to the poor people. You see, this word welfare, and it includes things like gas subsidy. That's ingenuous.
It's not the gas and diesel actually where the most
okay, hold on. I think just now. I think we mixing up because there are people who are indigent and so on. And you teach them to you give them an opportunity. You give them a bailout and an opportunity and help them to get out of a hole. But not permanently to be given away free money to people.
Public housing.
Is that right?
No, it's not right. Public housing, food cards, and assistance. Those three things. What does that add up to as opposed to when compared to what is stolen, misappropriated annually as kickbacks?
You read the Auditor General's report?
No, I didn't get it in full as yet. You have a copy?
Just go on the net, you'll get a copy. It's published.
Send me the link.
Just go.
But I would like to see that because you see, to call it a catch-all as well.
No, but read the Auditor General.
No, we know. Okay, so Philip, hold on. What we know based on the figures and based on the budgets and so on. What is
all right.
No, we know what is subsidy. We know what is basically welfare. What could the thing in terms of corruption we could only estimate. We do not. How do you because of the budget? What percentage of the
you're disgusting.
No, how much money is report? How much? Yeah.
But we just throwing numbers here. $6.8 million to move a fire truck.
All right.
And that is the smallest. We're talking about the.
All right. So that and add again. What are the?
No, I can't.
So what is the point we're making? But out of the budget, there are actual figures that are published, figures that are discussed and debated. That we have data where we know what is the subsidy.
We could say here with firm conviction
that
food cards is a drain on this economy and 6,000 fraudulent food cards and all that drama, but we can't put a number to the party finances. A government come into power. The last government give a man 400 acres of land. This government give the same man a next 400 acres of land.
For free? Is it lease or they transfer all the land to him?
Lease.
Is he paying any kind of, hold on, when they get the land, what they get the land to do? Are they paying any fees for the land otherwise?
From what I understand, no.
from what you understand.
You
Well,
have
double check.
information?
No, yeah,
You
you
have
can't
cabinet
say if you
notes?
don't
But
think
you don't have the information.
have
for
the
the
lease?
No, because
flats.
nobody get land for
lease?
free. Regardless of what they pay, there would be a lease. The land would be leased, and there'll be a cost, whatever the cost may be, on the market value, whatever. But there's a copy. Nobody
There
get
is
a,
no way in this country you
the
could
government
compare
can't give nobody
social
land to give
assistance.
you land.
Social
someplace
assistance,
there.
because when you look at the amount of money that passes through
Philip,
this
I think
country,
you have to go. I
Philip,
think you have to go
you're
to the
out
other
of
station
sync with
and
them.
have that discussion with the field studio operator and so on.
you sit
I
down
think-
here
I think-
tonight and
I
told
think
Trinidad,
I love you.
you sat down here tonight and told Trinidadians that a success model is colonialism, when in truth and in fact what's going on is the people's birthright is being ripped off on
How
a
do you
daily
have a
basis.
birthright? What gives you a birthright? You're born here?
Exactly that.
Uh-huh.
Exactly
So that
that.
means-
So the oil and the gas
So
that
I
come
want-
that is why you have a
so I want-
constitution.
you have a birthright too.
But that's why you have a constitution that provides with all the rights, the fundamental rights that are enshrined in the constitution otherwise, but it also
That is the
has
problem.
where you have to work to achieve something on upward mobility. You cannot
He's
get
trying
it
to get a
for free.
political
That is not true. That is not true. The capitalist system.
And he's trying to promise
The
them
capitalist system
bread and
that
rum.
you have, no, that is not true. But the capitalist.
Chavez,
Well,
Chavez in his grave.
Pinto
that
promise
you-
everybody they go give them
See?
everybody free land.
So next
Now
time
he promising free land too. He said that everybody must get free land. But I asked him how it's gonna work.
you heard me say everybody
Yeah,
must
I
get
have that,
free land.
I have it on record.
You
It's
have
in
it on
net.
record that I
You
said
write
everybody
that
must get
every
free
week,
land.
every night.
David
And listen,
Fraser, you just told the
Also-
public of Trinidad and Tobago
Right?
that the colonial model is the best
yes, it
working
is.
model.
Because you know why? What is the biggest cost to
I
owning a
am
house?
disgusted.
What is the biggest cost to owning a house?
The house, the mortgage,
The land.
the mortgage,
The land?
the mortgage, and
I'm
that's why.
asking you.
Listen to me.
Since we have a land problem in Trinidad, and people do
We
have
don't have a
land.
land problem. We have a drug problem that hiding money inside real estate
Uh-huh.
to make it impossible for
All right,
small men to
all
get
right,
land.
all right. If you're saying so, right?
Where's the proof on the evidence?
No,
Why
no,
there's
no.
a suspicion of
Sit down,
that?
sit
No,
down.
no.
Come in.
Bring
which
the
drug lord-
association.
Who is the
bring
which
the
drug lord who
association.
identify
No,
him?
Bring
sit
the
down, sit down,
association
sit down,
of real
sit down,
estate
sit
agents
down,
here.
sit down.
Bring them
The
in.
Association of Real Estate Agents is not professional people. Let's get to brass tacks, right? I want to ask him the question: what is the percentage of home ownership in Trinidad?
You might know that, I don't.
About 78%.
But I want to ask you a question.
What is the percentage of home ownership in the States? Check it, 75.3% or something like that. What's the home ownership in England? 67%.
You get into a
So
point.
where I want to go with the land policy? Let me hear now.
You should have.
Theoretically, everybody in Trinidad owns property.
Let me tell you something.
Which person sitting in this room here don't own a piece of
The
land?
property tax that we ask.
You're talking stupidness.
No, but let me make my point. Because if we had proper property taxation, this is a small island. This is not something as vast as Canada or Russia. So you must have a situation where it is possible for everybody
Look,
to be
Philip,
able
you
to
don't
buy.
understand what you're talking
You
about.
can't cut me off, David, because I'm telling you, if
Well,
you
to be
have-
able to buy, that the operator
let me finish
buy.
make a point.
Operator to
If-
buy, not for free.
Ask him what is the largest cost
I am
in a
not
house.
saying to give it
Then
to
he
people
can't
for
answer me.
free. So that if we had proper taxation and legislation to protect everybody in this country so that people could be able to buy homes, we would have a different situation where crime and things.
But you could build your own house on your piece of land.
How they get into afford the land? You just say the most expensive cost is the land.
No.
You just
I
said
am
that.
asking you if that's the most expensive cost.
I am saying to you,
You
that-
don't know yet about mortgage. The largest
Would you-
cost in our
right now-
property.
right now-
Philip,
right
I don't
now,
want to
yes.
shout with you.
Okay.
The largest cost in our property, about 80% of the cost is the house.
would you agree?
It's the house.
Would you agree?
The land is not the cost.
Would you agree that we should, because of the size of this country, tax to limit land ownership, so that your first property could be tax-free as national, but your second property should have a significant tax?
You can't do that wherever it has been done. It has failed.
Name an example.
Venezuela.
You're going to use Venezuela as your example.
Russia.
for everything I told you last night.
Russia with 8
You
million
knock
square
these
mile
things
land.
and China end up owning the world. The reality of the situation.
China had the same policy and they never get off the mark. They had people living there 43 years.
If China had
From
didn't
just-
stop, if China didn't stop people
What's
from
the life
making children,
expectancy? And,
if China didn't stop people from making children, all knows
They
what
had
they
the
want to
same
do.
policy, but when people could trade land, then they get it. It has
David, the
value.
reality of the situation is you cannot have capitalism without compassion. It creates confusion. You have to stop.
But when you
advocating-
tax people,
Let me finish
when
it.
you tax people for
It is
owning more
very
than one
difficult.
property,
Listen,
all
when
that
you
happens is
speak, I
that you
listen.
create inflation.
When you speak, I listen. Why don't you let me finish making a point?
Because
If
the policies
you
don't
may
work.
disagree.
They are stupidness.
You may disagree.
Philip, you know what?
You are
have to
colon-
get the national award for talking the most nonsense in
all
Trinidad.
right,
should
let's
get
not
a
get
focus
there. All
bag
right.
of-
I think we have come to the 10 p.m. hour, and I would like to thank Rose and BML from Pity Valley, Rose from Boston, for keeping us company as well, too, and the others who have been keeping us company via the
Rose was busy.
text messaging, but via the messages on
Magdadi has a fan.
website here, the studio message
That's
board.
Magdadi's number one fan. Rose.
David, excuse me, I have air conditions. I've
More than fan.
stepped up from fans.
See that?
Yes,
You
so it
see, that
has-
is a sign of progress.
Bring in the auditor
But under
general
Philip's
report.
model,
Bring
you
it.
will go-
we'll get copies. Okay, hold on. Next
Why
week
don't-
we'll try to get copies and go through the Auditor General report and get some
Yeah,
people
but
as
you
well to so
cannot
that we can
only
discuss,
bring
yeah.
conspicuous capitalists on board to talk this conversation. You have to bring people here who could make proposals from all sides. You know, you're laughing, eh? David, you're laughing, and you walk around thinking that your opinion is the only one that matters. But we're in a country that is collapsing and circling the drain. We're building.
Well, the country will collapse
So
faster
that-
if you take
I'll
everything and
take
give
a
it away
deep
to
breath
free
and
for
you jump
people.
in. Let me finish saying, we're not for China, Brazil,
I want
and Europe.
food card.
No different to what is
Should I
happening
can I
now.
get a food card?
Giving away people the free.
What's
it
the
will
value
be
of a food card?
No different to what is happening now and
I
no different to what
prefer
happened
you
in
give
the previous
everybody in this
administration.
country a food card and stop the corruption,
Philip,
stop the
That is encouraging the corruption.
How is that encouraging
because
corruption?
That is corruption.
Philip, how much
So
how much
should I-
money
you
is a
don't
food
think-
So
card?
Philip, if they give you 2 food cards, you will take it.
No, I will take one. Should I? I want you to tell me something. You prefer to live in a country where people who rich beyond measure.
Long time people used to
still
be ashamed to
steal money.
take full card, and once they could afford to do something, they ashamed to take anything from the
Are
government.
you taking subsidized diesel and gas?
That is
Shame.
shame. I think that is shame. That is
There's only one
what they
people,
pay
there's
who-
only one person can sell it.
we
That's
could
what
go.
I'm
So what are you
saying.
gonna do?
What are we gonna
That's
do?
what
They're
I'm
going to tell the
saying.
gas station here what I feel that I am paying too little for this. Let me give them the
Gentlemen, it
extra.
was an
Pass
absolute
it on to
pleasure.
Petrotrin.
It was an absolute pleasure. The next time I'm walking with the Auditor General report.
Yeah,
and
but
the
don't
land
walk with the
value.
report and read it.
All right, but generally we try to maintain a particular, level of the discussion in terms of our interaction with each other. And
You all
mutual
ganged up
respect.
on
So
me.
no,
That's
we
what you all
did not.
did.
We didn't
Gang
gang
up
up
No,
on
no,
you.
I
Gang
wouldn't
up.
say so.
You're
I
just
don't mind it.
rambling.
I will bring.
And we source the information that we have usually sourced it. We have authoritative source of persons, experts, so other people who are well placed in the various
Yes, we do.
things. So we maintain a particular level
And
of
no-
discussion and
yeah.
over the
And we
period that
guide
have
them
had it.
before they come on the program to do their research.
I understand and accept.
Which I
it.
told you
But I
today.
want to tell you something.
But you know what, Philip? You have to
We
cut back on your
need-
Facebook time
No, we
and
need-
start to read some more.
Thank you very much, David. We need some more compassion in our governance.
No, you do not need passion and compassion
You
here.
don't
but
need
yeah,
compassion.
You need to be
Compassion.
level-headed. People need to be level-headed, to be fair-minded, and to be right-thinking, basically, and in terms of your
That sounds so
judgment.
nice.
Have you ever read the
Must
7
care about
highly
people.
effective habits of the 7 habits
Successful
of the
people.
of the effect of highly
Highly
people
effective people, yeah.
by Stephen Covey?
Yeah.
And you ever been to any of his lectures?
No.
Oh, all right.
You've been?
Yeah.
Who sponsored you?
I pay my own way. My company.
All right, gentlemen, without getting, that's why we try to get away with the
But that
program
is
over there. We
nonsense
don't
because
get
by
into
asking me
these.
that of what relevance is that?
And that is where we try to make the
it-
program to
Philip,
define it
Philip,
in a
I think the
different
public should
level
be,
of
if
Philip,
David thinks that
I
that
think
is-
you have potential, but you know
We
what?
go into
I think
some
if
You
you
can't
details.
migrate it to the major
It's like-
networks if you continue
I
with this.
understand that, but
with
if you
this-
say that
with
that is
this-
a good
with this
thing to
primary
read,
school talk.
if you think that's a good thing to read and as a good seminar to attend, Trinidad have 1.3 million people. We should come up with a proposal and a plan to make that available to all. Right now, the Jericho
But all you
project.
need to do is go
Right
on the
now, the
internet.
Jericho project is sourcing used books worldwide.
There are
to make
many
it
other
available-
organizations who
to
do
make
that.
it available to all the
Yeah, but
at-risk
There
communities.
are scores of organizations who I am aware.
The Amazon Kindle
do these
gives
things,
you
yeah.
is 100 US for one, and you and they and they're
I'm
about
talking
3 and a
about things that you have
half.
to plug in.
They're 3.5 million books.
We don't
All right,
want to
gentlemen, we
suffer.
have come to the end of the
Everybody
program
is
tonight. It's 3
Absolute
minutes after
pleasure.
10 o'clock. It has been
Could take you somewhere in San Diego,
a
show
lively
people
program
that
tonight with David
Then
Fraser,
they
Philip
can see all
Alexander, who
society.
would continue, and I'm sure even after they leave the studio here, they will continue
No, we
with,
will
with this
continue.
interaction
But I hope that Philip
out
comes
in the
home
car
and
park
gets
and as well as on the road.
And read.
So thanks a lot for having me.
But I would like to say thanks to our sponsor, the Chin City Mall, who has been part sponsor of the program, and we will continue to enlighten our listening audience with discussions, interactive discussion, and enlightening discussions on topics that are of interest to the public. Next week, one of the issues we will deal with is the Auditor General report. We'll dissect the report and try to point specific issues and deal with
Could I-
some-
Waste
sure.
and corruption.
Could I come in here? I would let and I'm glad you were talking about the Auditor General's report. So Philip,
I'll read it.
take some notes. Auditor
will.
General report. But before you
The
read that,
Exchequer's Act. I'll read that first.
the Exchequer,
I'll read that first.
the Exchequer Act, right? After the Exchequer Act, 76 or
7 habits of highly effective people.
No.
Give me a pen there, sir.
and
Gentlemen-
basic management systems.
Yeah, gentlemen,
EMS.
next week we cannot continue the program in the way.
And read the budget too.
We have to be able to.
Don't say the budget is 50 billion and the budget is
Let's
62
put it
billion.
All right, so that's it for tonight. Red, white, and black, and we'll see you next week Tuesday. Tomorrow is Labor Day. Do have a happy Labor Day. Before, but I have already taken off some of the messages that I would have had on my computer as well too. That's it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Red, white, and black brought to you in part by Chin City Mall, right here at Power 2.1 FM. Tuesday evenings from 8 till 10 in the PM.
Red, white, and black. Red, white, and black. On Power 102 FM. Power Nights on Power 102 FM.
Tobago Race Day is back at Santa Rosa Park. Wednesday, 19th June, Labor Day holiday. Added attraction will be Tobago Goat Racing Live. Feature races, the Eric Cole Durant Memorial Turf, and top of the class stakes. Come and enjoy Tobago hospitality. Be entertained by Show in Winchester and Oscar B. And enjoy the mouth-watering Tobago cuisine on sale. Tobago Day at the races this Labor Day at Santa Rosa Park Arena. Bring the entire family.
Does your dog bark excessively? Does your dog run outside every time you open the gate? Is your cat scratching the furniture? And is your parrot plucking its feathers?